This is the Fortean Slip with your host, Chris York.
But he can smell the Loveland Frogman.
It's a Mothman festival.
Oh, Mothman, whatever the fuck it is, I don't give a shit.
Co-host, Steve Alcorn.
I'm lazy, and I don't do YouTube videos anymore, but I still get money from YouTube on occasion.
And sometimes special guest, Matt Knapp.
Maybe I could go down in history as the first eyewitness of a moth woman.
I think you should endeavor to do that.
Taking down all things strange since 2013.
Got my reservation.
What would Jesus do, Steve? What would Jesus do?
In Chris's world, that's called a good day, Steve. Oh, Steve, you're a damn investigator.
I don't know much about that subject. But what subject do I know about?
Which means he can hear it on a quiet day. That's kind of like one of your cryptid sightings, Steve. Asshole lives matter, Steve. What's the Mothman's name?
Actual name?
Fred Dryer.
That's not the Mothman's name.
Dude, you would be hard-pressed to get me to attend a Bigfoot conference if it was like a block away from me.
I was gonna say if it was in Tulsa.
Wolfman Jack was on the air.
I'm the Wolfman.
Another astro.
Every time I do any sort of impression, he has to trump me.
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 124. The end of another era episode. It has been almost to the day 3 years since we started this big bag of horse shit. 3 years ago, well, 3 years ago in a month, I messaged Steve, and this is a little inside bullshit for all you people that think that I just beat the fuck out of this guy every damn week, because I do.
Well, yeah, you do.
I messaged Steve about, I don't know, it was at some point in time in 2013, before August, and I said, hey, do you want to do a show? Listen, I need you to just be able to take shit. That's the role I need you to play.
I've been playing that role, I think, quite well ever since then.
And don't get me wrong, some of it's well-deserved.
I say 90%.
Yeah, at least.
Okay, now when you go into, like pedophilia and being a Nazi and shit like that, maybe not so much, but...
No, don't forget racist.
Well, yeah, that's part of being a Nazi. You gotta kind of have to be racist.
Yeah. And returning to the program, now, what do we call him? Is a Bigfoot expert, as dubbed by which paper?
I forgot.
Matt?
The Washington Post.
The Washington Post. Bigfoot expert.
I don't know. I don't know.
Bigfoot expert Matt Knapp.
Of me, wasn't it?
From Oklahoma. Right up there with, wait a minute, Matt Moneymaker.
That's right. The double Matt Bigfoot article.
Well, that's the funny thing is Matt Moneymaker got top billing in that article.
But I got the majority of the article.
Well, yeah, but you were second fiddle.
I was the closer, Steve.
And
I was the sweet finish.
And
well,
for the
right,
record,
yeah.
you were the more sane voice in the conversation. You couldn't have had two more opposing views of that question that was posed to you. Like
pretty much.
It just was like, one was like, yeah, that's it. and then one was like a thought out process where you looked at the situation and actually made a rational decision.
And maintained a pro Bigfoot attitude.
Right, exactly. But I would like to take a trip in the Wayback Machine for Matt, because I know that Matt doesn't have the time to sit around and listen to the shows that we've done without him. On occasion,
We've done shows without. No, we don't do shows without.
Yes, we
Well,
do.
I have noticed I've gained a British accent, actually.
Yes. And you mumble like a motherfucker. But in a recent show, we went back and looked at the Norm Glasser hoax.
Oh. Can you stop?
No.
With a Norm Glasser.
No. I just Steve wants to bill himself as this man of integrity.
No. Other people have billed me. Who was it?
Tim Fasano.
Ryan Redding?
Ryan Redding and Tim Fasano both said that I'm a man of integrity, and so I think that's pretty good.
We'll chisel it in stone, then.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, there are opposing views to that. Rick Dyer said I was a weasel. So.
Yeah, but Rick Dyer, I mean, come on.
He's kind of right about that.
Okay. We might have to throw him a bone there.
Yeah.
You are kind of like you are like this secret little shit stirrer that nobody knows about.
Oh, they know. They just don't know.
It's funny too, because you can say that on this show, and they'll still be like, no, he's a good guy.
If they only knew, right?
You're always such a kidder.
Yeah, because we could go back to the show where, like, Richard Allen's on the show, and Steve gives props to Ryan Redding. I thought Richard's head was going to come off his fucking shoulders that show.
Well, you know why I did it.
Yeah, because you're a shit stirrer. Dude,
Ryan's
I fucking love it. Don't get me wrong.
Listener.
Oh, I know.
Ryan's a faithful listener to this show. And
no, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Oh, he comments.
He is?
He comments on all the fucking videos, just about.
Oh, okay. Well, then I have a story to tell.
Oh boy.
Let's go.
Oh boy.
Let's get off this Norm.
No. We can
Glasser
shelf
thing
Norm
and go to the
Glasser.
Ryan
No,
Redding
fuck
story.
you. We're shelving Norm Glasser for a minute.
So this guy, Ryan Redding, who fancies himself a top tier person in the Bigfoot community. As you know, there was one afternoon where we had a hangout with Ryan that I was privy to. And Ryan basically let it be known that he had no idea who the fuck I am.
Well, wait, whoa. You've been in the Washington Post.
I know. I was certified a Bigfoot expert by a journalist.
And not just any journalist, but a journalist for the Washington fucking Post.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
I don't even live in Washington. So yeah, he's naming off like all these people that I consider peers and colleagues as like these top-notch people in the community of Bigfoot and such, and he doesn't have any idea who I am or why I would question anything he's saying or anything like that. And it ultimately led to me just leaving the hangout in disgust at the ridiculous shit that he was saying. Since then, he still has no idea who I am. Other than that one day, and I would say that if he does know who I am, there's probably a little bit of animosity between us. He probably doesn't care for me or my opinions, which is fine. So it's kind of funny. Apparently he doesn't know that I don't own it, but I run Bigfoot Evidence. So I get this message sent to me from Ryan Redding just kissing my ass. Hey bro, I love what you do. I love the work that you do. Like, wanting me to look at videos and wanting me to be a part of some bullshit book deal he's trying to push, and he's throwing out names like Meldrum and stuff to try to bring Bigfoot evidence on board, and still just no clue that I would rather, eat razor blades than have anything to do with him.
Now, did he message you as Bigfoot evidence or as Matt?
Yes, as Bigfoot evidence. Ryan, if you're listening, to let you know who I am, I'm a certified
Bigfoot expert.
A published Bigfoot author, and I run the largest Bigfoot website on the internet. I'm sorry that doesn't meet your credibility criteria to be part of your almighty, all-powerful group of peers and top-tier researchers that sell clothes online. But hey.
Well, now, you're feeding into the cabal idea now, because you've just admitted that you're not going to publish any of his shit.
And I haven't. If you go back and look, I haven't. I refuse to. He would have to change the name of his YouTube channel for me to publish anything, and then it would only be on accident until somebody called it to my attention. I will never post anything he puts out. It's all fake. It's all bullshit. Just my opinion, he's a fucking drug head that needs to fucking go somewhere and die.
Well, geez,
no.
I'm just saying.
I mean, come on. We might have to edit that out.
If he crawled up behind a
it's
dumpster in an
opinion.
alleyway and passed away, I would lose no sleep.
Huh.
I don't hate the guy.
Oh, Ryan and I get along famously.
I never would have come to that conclusion from his videos. But yeah. Yeah,
I don't have anything against the guy. He's all right.
Nothing at all.
He's harmless. He'll never amount to anything or accomplish anything in his life. So
what's his almighty powerful group up to?
Writing a book, apparently.
No. I mean, like, who's actually part of this federation of Bigfoot researchers?
Ryan Redding is part of this.
oh.
Meldrum. Well, here, let me just bring it up.
Yeah,
you guys can bear with me for a moment.
The Western
we need
New
some
York,
music for that shit.
Let's prove it or something group. Is that what we're talking about? The peer review.
We need Richard to hum the news theme while we fucking do this. And I can scream at him.
Well, you can do tricky things with editing these days, so.
Yes.
Yeah, I sent all this information to Richard.
About the group?
Yeah. Well, his message to me on Bigfoot evidence, that he apparently is unaware that I am Bigfoot evidence.
And you have been for quite some time. And it's like
quite a while.
It's no secret.
No.
You sign everything you post, Matt K.
Right, at the bottom of every single thing that gets posted on the website is my name. But, maybe he didn't notice.
And why would he?
Well, because he's busy out there, trying to prove this thing.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, he's just a valid researcher.
Here we go. I guess it's okay for me to read this message on air, isn't it?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Hey, what's up, brother? Love what you do.
Brother?
Yeah, we're bros. I have recently
you having a bromance over there?
We do. We're tight. We're tight like that. Says, I have recently shared some of the things happening in the woods. Western NY Bigfoot. I can share some vids with you. And then he sent me links to videos that I didn't care about and didn't watch. He said, have had people do breakdowns of what happened. I guess I missed that. I have been searching 5 years and had 3 visual encounters now. Currently pursuing writing a book for beginners into the Bigfoot world. You seem like a great guy. Thanks, man.
You are.
If you have any questions, let me know, brother. Positive movement.
Let me know, brother.
It's like he speaks in like phrases that I don't know. I am actually implementing two-way mirror glass this week in the woods with a trail cam set into a tree. Looking to do some awesome things in the future.
I'm going to
nice
make
to meet you.
a trail camera disappear.
Yeah. Would like to mention you in our book. We are touching base on the whole spectrum of the Bigfoot world we live.
The
Real
book is
research
called
to
Lies
entertainment.
and the Lying Liars That Tell Them.
All positive. Many on board. Okay, here we go. Ed Brown, Jeff Meldrum, Todd Disito, Todd Neese, Ron Moorhead, to name a few. If interested, let me know. Okay, well, Ryan, no, I'm not interested. Thanks for asking.
I'm going to guess that the others aren't either.
I'm pretty sure he asked if he could like mention them in a book, and they agreed to it.
Well, maybe, yeah,
for self-promotion purposes. I don't think he's like,
collaborating
sitting at a table in some castle in the Pacific Northwest.
Well, no, he's busy out in the woods. I don't even, Ryan, how do you find the time to write a book when you're out in the woods all the time? You know, how do you do that?
Well, because his research area is his front yard across from the park. But, you know,
hey,
he's a man of many talents, Steve.
When you have such a diverse Bigfoot population in the area across the street from your house, you got to jump on that shit, man.
Hey, if I had Bigfoot walking down the sidewalk in front of my house, I would put out a trail camera too.
As you should.
Absolutely.
I think you should anyway. You could catch some pretty amazing things out in front of your house.
I could, actually.
Might not be Bigfoot, but it might
not be.
It might be worthy of a viral video.
Just because it's not Bigfoot doesn't mean you can't call it Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I think the biggest issue here is that Bigfoot is open to interpretation. Right?
There's an interpretation scale with Bigfoot?
Yes, absolutely. I've seen it 100 times, or 1,000, a million times on the internet. Some people interpret different things as Bigfoot. So,
Oh, it's definitely some interesting fucking interpretations.
So
and
Ryan might be finding Bigfoot every time he goes out, legitimately, because
he's watching Finding Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Well, no, whatever it takes.
I guess it takes a YouTube channel.
That's pretty much it anymore.
Or
and
a head
camera.
in a box.
Yes.
All right, with the head in the box.
Yes. We did. We revisited the Norm Glasser.
Norman Glasser.
Hoax, if you'll call it, if you want to call it that, which I do.
Is it a hoax? Was it really a hoax, though?
Yes.
If you're trying to pull one over on people, then yes. It's a con.
No, he didn't intentionally. I mean, he didn't come to me. I went to him because somebody had given me his name and somebody who I trusted, and she was just as flabbergasted that the guy lied as I was. But so was he intentionally trying to hoax me? Not prior to me contacting him, but as soon as I contacted him, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because you did the little interview with him.
I sure did.
And you were like, this guy's legit. He's fucking legit.
Sounded legit.
And if you remember, Matt, you were in too in the beginning.
I had the fish hook in my mouth.
You had the fish, and I was the only fucking one that was like, yeah, let's just let this fucking line out.
It was a picture that nobody had seen before. I mean, it was
well, apparently.
Well, yeah.
So, there's a lot of people who had seen it.
Thousands of people had seen it, but not the picture, but the head in the box. But he was very skilled at
Lying.
The lying, the photo manipulation, which wasn't actually, there was nothing manipulated about the photo. I had, Photoshop people look at it. It was just, he knew how to take a photo to make it look like something it really wasn't. And it was sort of impressive to me.
Which is so striking considering he comes from the paranormal community.
Right. And then the guy was a very skilled liar.
Okay, now let me see if I remember this.
Skilled.
Let me see if I remember this whole story correctly. The whole story was that he was in a vehicle, and he took the picture as this thing came up on the window, and that's why it looked the way that it did through the glass.
Right, there was from his infrared camera, because he had one of those Bell and Howell cameras that record night vision or whatever you want. I don't know what you call it, but
everything
infrared.
he said was true.
Yeah. Well,
You
no.
were talking about details,
Right.
like the camera, the location geographically where he was at, and everything lined up.
It was just
the lie.
A really big orchestrated lie.
The non-truth part was the only part.
And come to find out, this thing was just a fucking head in a box in a museum.
It was a gaff.
Yeah, in some museum somewhere. And there's pictures of it all over the internet. This guy actually went to the museum, took the picture, and then tried to buy the head, I think. Didn't you find that out, Matt?
Yeah.
He tried to buy the head, and she wouldn't sell it to him. So
the lengths people will go to pull bullshit over.
I mean, it was completely pre-orchestrated. That's all he did was he made a special trip to the town whenever he was in the area to take pictures of that thing and try to buy it.
And he did. I mean, he did as far as hoaxes go, this is a pretty damn good one.
Yeah, it just didn't last very long.
Well, and if it hadn't been for Adam Bird and his, somehow he put the two pictures together and figured it out. But even if I had seen the other picture, I'm not sure right away that I would have,
Oh wait,
because of the way he took
top-notch
the photo.
investigator Steve Alcorn?
No, it's just because of the way he took the photo. It didn't look exactly like that creature.
I had seen the head in the box thing before, years ago, and it didn't pop in my head whenever I saw the photo.
Because it's the way he took the photo. It was first of all, it was in night vision on his camera, and
it was through
different angle,
a pane of glass, so the car window made sense.
Even though it wasn't through a car window, it's just a head in a glass box.
Right.
The one issue that I always had with the photo from the beginning was the location of the little dots of light from the infrared. They lined up kind of where they would have been if he took that photo, and I was trying to figure out the angle, which he would have had to, but he had a story for that too, how he just quickly snapped a photo, and where the camera was is why the lights were where they were, and that was the only issue I really had with the photo at the time, because it just didn't line up correctly as if you were taking a picture straight out your window. But because he said he took it quickly, you can't.
There should have been motion blur.
Well, depends.
The picture was really in focus. I mean, hindsight's 20/20.
In retrospect, there were probably many more red flags than what at least I was seeing, and yeah, it was, and I'm not going to lie about it, and I've said it before on the show. I was thinking about, YouTube hits at the time. I mean, man, I've got this photo that nobody else has. We're gonna put this on YouTube and do some videos about it and shit like that, and maybe I can make a few dollars. And it blinded me to the truth, I think. But I'm not saying that was Matt's motivation, but that sure as hell was part of mine. And I knew it at the time, but I didn't realize it was blinding me. That's why I don't do that shit now. But
yeah, no, you just grab shit as it comes out and get hundreds of thousands of hits off it, you dick.
Yeah, but my motivation, and I'm not saying my motivation in that story was the YouTube hits, but it sure as fuck crossed my mind, and I think because of that.
Well, yeah, I think it crosses
blinded
all
me.
of our minds. I mean, I don't know about Matt, and I'm sure it's the same exact thing for Matt. He produces the fucking Bigfoot Outlaw radio show, which we fucking pimp all the time at the end of this goddamn show. But you're looking for hits. You want to title things just right. I mean, I know you pretty much use those stock images or that you fuck around with for your actual photo that you use, but you're always trying to get hits with that shit, I would assume.
Well, a radio show is different than
I didn't ask you.
promoting. I don't care. I don't care who you asked. A radio show is a little different than promoting Bigfoot evidence stuff. You know, if you have evidence of Bigfoot,
Well, that's the same thing.
No, it's not necessarily.
And he's over there avoiding the question, the quiet fuck.
I'm not avoiding any question. Clickbaiting is a huge part of it.
Of course it is.
Of course, you're trying to get as many views as possible in any scenario. I mean, if you write an article, you want people to read it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, you promote it, and at the time, I was right there in cahoots with Steve. Like, we wanted to break it before anybody else did. And that's what we did. And then we worried about, okay, now let's really dig in deep and see what's going on here. And as soon as it was called to our attention, I contacted Steve. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. He was getting ready to go to work. And he was like, yeah, go ahead and break it.
I'm like, oh, fuck.
I mean, we broke that it was a hoax. Like, if we were just motivated by the potential hits, we would have just sat on it.
Which most people do.
Right.
You know?
But we wanted to get the truth out there as soon as possible.
Oh, yeah. I think we wound up doing a show, like, either that night or 2 nights later.
Yeah.
Like, within that amount, because we wanted to just get the story out there. That this was bullshit.
And we exposed him in the paranormal community, which he was a part of.
And as far as I know, I've seen him maybe once or twice since. So his credibility.
Considering this hoax in the Bigfoot world, there's no telling what all he had hoaxed in the paranormal community. Because I know over in the paranormal field, wasn't he like attending conferences and being paid as a guest speaker and stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was making some good money off of it. He had done several conferences, and he was just getting to the point where, you know, he was, I don't know if he was going to go full time with it, but he took a lot of those ghost photo type things, you know, where there's some steam in the background, in the front of the camera or some bullshit, that kind of thing. That was his bag until the Bigfoot photo. But he was trying to pass that off in the paranormal community. He hadn't gone to the Bigfoot community until I contacted him. But he was passing it off as a Bigfoot in the paranormal community, in the ghost paranormal.
You know, a late friend of ours happened to be in both worlds.
Right.
That's how it came to light.
Yeah.
And she had known the guy.
Yeah, that was... she considered him a friend.
Right, and she was devastated by it. And she made sure that the group that she was involved with, her research group, was the one who was promoting him because they believed in him. And they were using that photo in their conferences. In their, you know, they would have little town hall meetings and conferences and shit like that. And they were using that particular photo because they believed in that guy that much. So...
It's gross. It's gross. Sickening.
When the story broke that it was a hoax, well, those people were devastated. I mean, they really were, and they were angry. And they went after him, and let's just say his name in the paranormal community is pretty much dirt because of it. So at least even though we were trying to promote something and it backfired on us, I'm going to pull a Kelly Shaw here. Without us, nobody would know there was a hoax. So,
and I will leave you to pull the Kelly Shaw on your own.
Yes, considering wasn't Kelly Shaw initially on the fucking bandwagon of it was a hoax video made after the original video?
I think he tried that. I don't think it flew very well.
Yeah,
I don't know about bandwagon, but I know he's probably on a short bus for several years.
Yeah.
I did have several conversations with Kelly Shaw after that. I had said something to him on Robert Kreider's timeline because Kelly, they were talking about it.
Steve, you're just throwing the names out there, aren't you?
So, I'm not a big fan of Kreider, but we won't go into him right now. But anyway, that's how I started talking to Kelly, and he told me, literally, he said, well, there was big floppy costume feet. That's why I was fooled. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You're a Bigfoot expert, right? And you're fooled by big floppy costume feet. So I just, but anyway, we had several conversations after that, mainly about the drone lawsuit, or he was trying to get the FAA after the drone people, and
because now that that it's been proven to be a hoax, he needs to make them pay.
Yeah, right. Because
why are you surprised that he was fooled by big floppy costume feet?
I wasn't surprised. I'm just surprised that he.
I mean, that guy is still mesmerized that his uncle can remove his thumb and find a quarter in his ear.
I was surprised that he said it. He said it on Kreider's time.
Wait a minute, you mean the woman didn't get sawed in half? Sawed in half. What a fucking asshole I am.
The last I heard from Kelly was, because he was going to keep me updated on the FAA filing that he did against those people. But the last I heard from Kelly, and he did actually, he messaged me back, well, the FAA has since changed the laws, and now it's not technically illegal to film from a drone, and now he's going to start doing it himself. Basically is what the conversation was.
He's also pushing a petition demanding that David Copperfield bring the Statue of Liberty back.
Yes.
But it is true, though, that the FAA has lessened the laws or softened the laws on filming from drones, so anybody who wants to do that now, as long as it's not, a real, I mean, you're not filming like
two people fucking in their bedroom.
No, nuclear power plants, or you're not invading privacy or anything like that, you're probably all right to upload it to YouTube. Prior to that, there was a gray area, but now you can do it. So
now it's A-okay.
I really don't understand that. I mean, you could, hang a GoPro from a kite and fly it around all you want to.
Right. I think the main concern is the FAA is worried about people filming, like government facilities that are top secret and things like that. I don't think it has anything to do with filming Bigfoot from a drone. I mean, we've seen things like that all the time.
Or Bigfoot and an actual person in a big foot costume dancing in a field.
Costume.
The FAA never has only ever gone after one person for filming from a drone, and they lost the case.
I got fooled by big floppy feet and a humongous foot costume.
Having a picnic in a field.
Actually, you are technically allowed to film from a drone.
And didn't they hold up a sign that said, "This is pretty much bullshit"?
Yes. The drone laws were that you couldn't make money. You had to have a special commercial license to be able to make money. So the YouTube thing was a gray area because YouTube is monetized. The lawsuit that the FAA lost was because the guy didn't have his channel monetized, but YouTube had ads on his channel. So somebody was making money, but he wasn't. But it was a big lawsuit, and the guy won because, And after that, the FAA never went after anybody else. Unless, of course, they were filming secret shit. They want you to have a commercial license. That's what it was. So.
Good times. But
Because
listen,
it's all about the money.
People have been after that fucking dollar forever. I mean, in all of these different communities, paranormal, Bigfoot, UFO. You get fucking. We did the Al Balick story about the man who went into the future and pulled all that bullshit. And people have called him out here, there, and everywhere. And yet, he's still running around trying to sell his shit, saying that it happened.
Well, yeah. Why not?
Because he knows that there's an audience out there that believes it.
Yeah.
Or an audience that's never heard of him that will run across him. I mean, everybody out there, I don't care who it is, coast to coast to Alex Jones, they're selling a product. Plain and simple.
We're all selling a product.
Right.
Anybody who's putting themselves out there and who's doing this shit, they're selling a product. I mean,
whether or not you're making money off of it, you're selling yourself.
If you think the Fortean Slip isn't a fucking product, you need to fucking just check out now. It is what it is. Like, I've never made any bones about that. Do I make a great deal of money off fucking YouTube? No.
But here's my favorite statement from people. Well, I'm not out to prove anything to anybody. Well, then why the fuck are you posting shit? Don't post it then. And then they get mad at you because you disagree with them, even though they know they're wrong. Most of them, I'm sure, they have to, or they're just fucking nuts.
It's one big.
That's my favorite.
It's one big look at me game. I mean, let's face facts. It's what it is. Check my shit out.
There's literally a guy. I found him a couple weeks ago. In fact, he friend requested me or something, and I accept everybody's friend request. I don't care as long as you're not spamming, that kind of shit. So this guy, and I won't say his name, but
you like spam,
friend
Steve?
Request me. Right, not that kind of spam though.
Oh,
there is one kind of spam I don't like. Though. Anyway, so he literally puts a camera in his vehicle, drives 70 miles an hour down the road or whatever, and films the whole time, and then goes back piece by piece looking at his video and taking still images from his videos and posting them as, UFOs and Bigfoots and dogmen and all sorts of ghosts and everything. And literally, it's debris on the side of the road. One of them was a Coke bottle. Clearly a Coke bottle. It was blurred, but you could still tell it was a Coke bottle, one of those plastic 20-ounce. Another one was, when a semi loses its retread, the tire. That was another picture that this guy posted. And there was a cow that was all blurred, but you could tell it was a cow. And a dog that was all blurry, but you could tell it was, that kind of thing. And he's got followers.
Of course he does. He's got people pointing out different things in the videos at the time to look for them, I'm sure.
Yes. And they're clearly, it's a fucking Coke bottle. Clearly a Coke bottle.
No, that's it.
Anybody.
It's a UFO, Steve.
He called it a duck-shaped UFO with rockets coming out of it.
It's a UFO, Steve.
I'm not joking. And this guy, I don't know if he believes it or he's either the most insane person ever to take pareidolia photos,
ding 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 ding,
or he's fucking around. I haven't figured it out yet.
And there are those people out there too who are just so, their belief is so insanely sure of itself that they can't see past anything else.
But he's got his camera focused pointed down towards the side of the road. You can see the road in the photos, you can see the grass, and he's claiming these things are UFOs on the ground.
He could be crazy, Steve.
I don't know if he's crazy or he's just fucking with everybody. That's why I haven't said his name. But I've been following the guy because he's kind of entertaining, to be honest with you. I mean, he's getting away with posting. road debris, or cows or dogs as, paranormal shit, and people buy right into it.
Well, how do you
It's
know
just
that
so
that
fucking obvious.
fucking border collie wasn't a dog man? I mean, come on.
Have you seen Men in Black, Steve?
There was a guy, he had a picture of a guy standing next to a car, and he claimed it was a Bigfoot. I mean, the guy's clearly got jeans and a t-shirt on. I mean, clear, plain as day. This wasn't one of his blurry photos either. And it's a Bigfoot, and he says, "I wonder when Bigfoot started wearing clothes." Like, you gotta be fucking kidding
Okay,
me.
this guy has to be fucking with people. I'm
He has to be.
in the he's fucking with people.
I'll have to send
Column.
you some of the photos. I mean, it's hilarious to see, but
Yeah, I don't buy that that's a crazy person. That's somebody who is just
I don't know.
screwing
If
with the
he's
general
not-
public.
If he's not fucking with us, he is the most insane. Even worse than that Ed Waterman dude. This guy is even worse than that because he's that fucking insane.
Are you trying to make fucking Richard Allen pop a blood vessel when he listens to this show?
Yeah, this show should be called Richard Allen's Greatest Hit.
Minus Richard Allen.
Well, I told him when I had gotten in touch with Matt and gotten Matt confirmed him to doing the show tonight. As I was like, listen, you can take a fucking night off on Sunday and actually listen to the show again for once.
You can go back to being a super fan.
Yeah. I said you can be
Ah, the
head
good old
lemming.
days.
Richard Allen, that beautiful bastard.
Yeah.
I love that son of a bitch.
He just
I loved his article
no
today.
fear.
Did
Oh,
you see
I
his
hate
article
Kip
today
Morrell.
on-
Kip Morrell.
Yeah, that was funny as fuck.
That was great.
Because it was tongue in cheek, but it wasn't.
Oh, I know.
Sorry, Kip.
I'm not.
No, I'm not.
So how, not to delve into the other side of your world, Matt, but how are things going with your other project?
My other project.
Yes.
My other project's going good. Everything's going good.
Did you find a helper?
Yeah, I did. They don't know it yet.
Oh, can we announce it here?
Oh, sure. I'm sure they listen to the show. My new assistant is Miss Dana Hamilton from Oklahoma.
Ah.
She will be helping me basically handle the email traffic. Will be her primary duty.
And for
But,
anybody,
everything's doing it. This is actually I'm currently working on. I took a break to do this show, just so you know.
oh,
We're actually I'm working on the production of our 1-year anniversary show that we just recorded last night.
Nice.
So
and for anybody who
Everything's
doesn't
going
know,
well.
I'm talking about
You know-
the Bigfoot Outlaw radio show, which Matt does, which is a very fucking huge following. So not only is he a Bigfoot expert, he could now be considered, a presence in the Bigfoot community on YouTube
yes,
with his show. I mean,
Fuck the Washington Post.
I think
You got YouTube.
your show does very well. I mean, I'm not gonna lie about
it
that
does.
bullshit.
We have some great fans. People love Bear and Kumbo and their crazy redneck antics, and it's working out. We're having fun. So
And for the record, on some of those episodes, I get some good hits on the blog form,
good.
which is win-win for both of us.
Yeah.
Going back to that money.
Want to get the information out there. So, anybody that wants to, put the show on their blog or whatever, feel free. I mean, I don't care.
And
Of course you don't.
what are you doing, Steve, besides the fucking show?
Nothing.
Yeah, that's
He's
what
making
I thought.
vinyl decals.
Yeah, I
Chris.
was gonna go there.
I'm gonna
Possibly
beat me
you've
to
heard.
I'm gonna start back up with that. I have a big car show in Geneva, Ohio here in a couple weeks, September 3rd, and they have a swap meet. So I'm gonna make a shit ton of it's just Volkswagens. So I'm gonna make a shit ton of Volkswagen decals and take them up there with me, and hopefully sell a few. But
Illegally.
well, you know.
Yeah. Let's
Well,
tell
it's
the truth,
not
Steve.
technically illegal.
Tell the truth,
You're a
Steve.
sticker bootlegger, Steve.
Well, how am I selling them
Pirating
illegally?
stickers.
I'm not pirating anything. Most of them are my own design or public domain.
He always
Most
goes
of
back
them,
to that
yes.
public domain shit, and then when he posts a public domain video to YouTube and he loses his monetization, he loses his shit.
Well, fuck. Legend of Boggy Creek did me so well. And it is technically public domain, but because YouTube doesn't give a flying fuck, the family of the guy who made the movie is, trying, taking down just about every version of that film. Oh, they'll leave it up and collect the monetization themselves is what they're doing. Because that's what happens. You can file a copyright claim on YouTube, and you can either let the people keep the video up and you collect the money, or you can have it taken down altogether. Well, the smart thing to do is let them keep the video and collect the money on it. I mean, duh. So that's what whoever, his children, the estate of this guy, is doing it that way. And I've tried a couple times, but I've given up on that particular one.
Speaking
Even
of
though that was my
public
best
domain, do you guys remember the story of the 911 call of the couple arguing, and she had the gun in her cunt?
Right.
Let's see here. Gun and cunt. Gun and cunt.
Yeah, just look that one up. You'll be able to find
Yeah,
it.
I recall that one.
Were you? Was that the one you were trying to get the actual 911 call for?
No, I have that one on my YouTube channel. The one
There was another one.
The one that I
Right.
It's
could
his
not,
ringtone, actually.
yes, the one I could not get was the 911 call where the woman claimed she saw a Bigfoot carrying a baby.
Oh yeah, that one. And as far as I know, it hasn't been released.
I actually tried to contact that dispatch or whatever, and got an email back from somebody, said that they would look into it, and never got another email back.
Legally, 911 calls are public domain because it's a public thing, but they don't have to release them. I don't think.
But the one,
Obviously,
the one about the
sometimes.
two rednecks arguing over UFOs, and the woman claiming to have a gun in her vagina, or he says, tell him about the gun you have shoved up your cunt, in the background when she's talking on the phone. That one,
I have a couple.
I was able to get the
911.
audio because it was already out there.
I have a couple 911 Bigfoot 911 calls on my YouTube, and they do fairly well.
Yeah, I can't
The one from
remember how well
one
that
from
was done.
Kitsap County or something, where that was the one that they played at the beginning of what was it, Monster Quest or something?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about, and
Yeah.
I've posted it to my blog before, but I've never grabbed the audio and put it on my YouTube channel.
Well, don't, because I have it. But anyway, and there's another
Fuck
one.
off. I'll do what I want.
There's another one, and I can't recall the guy's name, but he's wasted drunk, and he calls 911, and he's about to shoot a Bigfoot. And now I have that one on my channel too. So
I can't remember
the
that
one from San Antonio I don't have because it's everywhere. So
No, that one, those two, I think I'm unaware of both of those. The San
Good.
Antonio one.
San Antonio, where they see a Bigfoot dragging a deer carcass or something.
That's the homeless people one, right?
Right, and that's why Rick Dyer ended up using that actual location when he took Morgan Matthews to film that shooting Bigfoot, because of that 911 call. That was the location of that 911 call. So, but yeah, I have that one on my channel. No, I don't have that one on my channel because there's too many versions of it.
Yeah. And we've managed to piss a few people off over the years in this lovely program.
I think we all have.
Yeah. It's been...
I've tried to.
It's been fun.
No, actually, I haven't pissed off anybody because of this program. Well, yeah, there was that one British dude.
Which British dude are we talking about?
The one who lives in California now.
Oh, Bitch Lips.
Yeah, he got a little pissed off at me. Although, I made him see my side of the story. But other than that, I've never gotten much hate off this show. Even though I thought there was some times...
And that should have been directed at me, for the record.
Because everybody pities you whenever they listen to this show. Like, poor Steve.
You see what I've done there?
But that
I get messages like that. I get them all the time, and it's funny. It's funny as hell because, to me, this is I enjoy it, but people don't understand that I enjoy it.
But that fucking message should have been directed at me, and we all know.
The one from the California / United Kingdom
Vagina Mountain
native.
The man who's searching for the perfect I can't even fucking talk. American pussy.
To this date, he never did direct that message at you, I believe.
No, he never has.
And I don't think but it's in the past now, so fuck him.
Oh, yeah. Mr. I'm on board with portals. Then I don't kind of know what I'm saying. Yeah. What's he searching for now?
I have no clue.
Oh. Is he back
the
to
Fountain of Youth? Probably.
Is he back to the orang pendek?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, no, he's in America. I heard that he was like that's what he's gonna make his focus on.
Yeah, he's full-fledged West Coaster now.
Yeah, all about that Northwest Pacific Bigfoot bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's part of the Happy Camp group.
Oh boy.
Happy Camp group. What's that?
Well, it's just a nickname I have for a group of individuals. It's really a mindset more than it's a group of individuals.
Yeah.
It's kind of morphed over the past few years,
Okay.
but
I got what you're saying.
portals and lights and
Happy Camp is an
glyphs
actual
and-
place,
yes, it is.
and that's where a lot of I think that sort of thing started a few
Yeah.
years back.
I believe so.
Ooh, I'd like to take another trip in the Wayback Machine to the Justin Smha Bigfoot shooting.
Okay.
Now here's something that in the beginning
The world's largest hoax that never existed.
here's something that got me early on. Like, I kind of bit into this a little bit in the beginning, and I actually went out to the location. I've been there. I've seen where he supposedly shot from. I saw where the creature supposedly was. Saw where the juvenile creatures supposedly were. But I think I told Matt afterwards that I don't know what the fuck happened there, but I don't think it's what he said it was. I'm pretty sure that's what I said to you
Yeah.
after I had been there. Like, I
Yes.
just don't... Because I had been told the whole story at that point, and this was before Dead Bigfoot had come out. Like, that had not even been released yet. All the information that was there.
At this point, I think Dead Bigfoot was kind of the point.
Right. I think we came to that conclusion quite rapidly after we put all the pieces together.
I mean, just for instance, let's take a look at Bob Gimlin's life and what he's done and is continuing to do all the time. That guy if you go by the story being true and the film being real and everything, that guy saw a Bigfoot one time. And all these years later, like 50 years later plus, he's still right in the middle of everything in the Bigfoot world. So Justin, if we use that same process where the story's true and he really did shoot one and two of them and kill one and everything, and now doesn't even give a shit about the Bigfoot world or who believes him or who doesn't, and really doesn't have anything to do with any of it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, Gimlin for a long time didn't want anything to do with it until he, started doing conferences not all that long ago either, was it?
I personally don't know.
When
late 90s or early 2000s, I think, is when he started doing the conferences.
are you suggesting?
No, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying I'm not sure that we can use that as
the litmus test?
A primer. Right.
Well, going back to the Justin Smha thing, though, after being told the story, this thing coming up on, or coming out of the woods or whatever, as they drove up, and him pointing a gun at it, and it waving its fucking arms, the story didn't really make much sense to me.
But see, to me, it did make sense. That was the thing that really drew me into it. Because there's a couple things about his story that rang true with me. And they were things that, like, well, let me use this as a litmus test and see how it does for you fellas. It's like the tits on Patty. Like, if you're going to hoax a Bigfoot costume, why are you going to make it a female? It seems odd. Now, other people will say, well, that was the catch to make it seem real. I get that. But, like, to me, the story,
it would have been much easier for them to just make a fucking costume.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Right. And for Justin, it would have been just much easier as there was a Bigfoot standing there. I took a shot at it. Period. But it waved its arms. Okay, well, after it waved its arms, then he notices the two younger ones stand up. Okay, well, now that makes sense. The older one was waving its arms to distract his attention away from the younger ones, allowing the younger ones to hide or escape or whatever the hell was going on. And then saying that the younger ones didn't look the same as the older one. Well, that's not something that you just find everywhere, but people who report seeing younger Bigfoot say that same thing, that they don't look like the older ones look.
Right.
And that's not something that he would have ran across on message boards or in sighting reports. So that and a few other things, it was like, that's interesting. But who knows?
But I personally just don't. I personally didn't buy into it after I believe that something happened. He shot something, but what he shot, I figured was probably a fucking bear, and the whole idea was, hey, let's make up this fucking cool story. They were out poaching anyway, allegedly.
The thing that got me with his story that made me somewhat kind of believe it is the way he described the way the younger ones sounded, because you guys know I had what I believed to have heard of a juvenile baby.
Right.
Well, it was the same exact thing, and I had never heard anybody ever say that before. And so when he said that, I'm like, how the fuck does he know that if that's not true? And so, and to me, it sounded like a deaf person when they try to talk, but it was in a higher pitched.
And once again, if you were going to research, what do Bigfoot sound like, you're going to run across the Sierra sounds and like the Ohio howl and things like that. You're not going to.
In fact, I couldn't find it anywhere else on the internet where it was described that way. And so that's what kind of made me buy at least into that part of his story. Now, at this point, I don't know what I'm not on the. I don't even think I'm on the fence on it anymore. I think it's all a big, very elaborate I don't want to say hoax. I don't think it started out as a hoax. I think it started out as a hunter story, because the way he started the story was on a hunting forum, and it was, what would you do if you seen this? He didn't claim to see it at that point. He didn't claim to shoot it at that point. And it wasn't only until after, some Bigfoot researchers contacted him that he started really going into this story. I could never...
Pretty much exactly how the whole Georgia hoax happened with Rick Dyer.
Right, and, well, of course, the Georgia hoax with Rick Dyer was unbelievable from the get-go, but it was the particular researchers that Smha was contacted by who made it more believable. Of course, Dyer was contacted by Biscardi, who was was already busted in one hoax before that, and has, I think, been since. So, but Bart Cutino, and at the time, I was a really fan of Derek Randall's too. Not so much now, but at the time I was.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Because, hey, Bigfooting is just a hobby, Steve.
Right.
It's just a hobby.
I still kind of like Bart, but anyway, so those two, he was contacted by those two, or those two got involved, and they were well-respected Bigfoot researchers, still are, to most people, and so it kind of made the story more believable. And I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I'm with Chris. I think he shot something that day. My guess it was probably a bear, and you make up a good story about that. About Bigfoot instead of a bear, and the game commission is probably not going to talk to you, right? So even though they showed up at his house, or allegedly showed up at his house, but.
And you brought it up.
He rolled around, and they came around the corner, and there was a huge bear out in the field, and the bear stood up, and he shot at it, and the bear took off running, and then he discovered that it was a mother who had just abandoned her two cubs after being shot, and I think he shot one of the cubs.
And, well, maybe, when a bear stands on its hind legs, a lot of times they put their paws in the air.
Right.
And that could be the waving. And, of course, a baby bear does look a lot like an adult, so that wouldn't cover that part of the story. But
it would make sense why his friend no longer speaks with him, because it's an asshole move to kill a baby bear.
Well, Justin's never been known as,
No.
an upstanding citizen. And he's never hidden that fact either. He doesn't give a flying fuck. He never has.
For the record, the picture that I had Fred Dunn do up, which, by the way, props to Fred Dunn, probably one of the harder working people on the Fortean Slip that most people don't know about, did all of our fucking artwork just for promotional purposes for himself, to get his name out there. So if you haven't gone to Fred Dunn's channel and checked out his stuff at youtube.com/Dred Funn, just turn off the fucking program and never listen again. Everybody should support him. Everybody should fucking support him that supports the show.
The busiest, most talented, undiscovered artist I've ever seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great guy. He's Canadian. We'll forgive him for that. But he's check
one
out
of
his
very
shit.
few Canadians that I like.
It's not just that Fred Dunn is a talented artist. He can do caricatures. He can do, like comic book type art. He can do real to life type stuff. Pen and ink. He can do pencil, anything. The fucker can do anything.
He's all over the board.
And he's great at all of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that he's done that I haven't liked.
What's that one series he does where he paints with tea?
Yeah.
Does he really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's just fucking amazing.
So if you haven't checked out his channel, it's youtube.com/Dred Funn, DredFunn. But the picture that he did with Steve and I in the foreground, and the guy with the no sleeve shirt shooting at a Bigfoot and the pile of cryptids at his feet, that's like a tongue-in-cheek fucking slam at Justin Smha because of that whole thing, because it was one of those things that got me kind of hooked into it. And once I started looking into it, I was just like, because I've met Justin too. Like, for the record, I've had Justin wake me up out of bed. And that was right after Bigfoot Bounty had gotten done. And
I do want to say one more thing.
And wait a minute, let me fucking finish. He's from what I understand of him, he's a prankster. I never get a bad vibe from the guy, like that I didn't like him or that he was a horrible person. I want to state that for the record. But he's a fucking prankster. He liked to pull fucking jokes. And I think that was one of the things that pushed me to that point where I was like, yeah, he could have pulled this off as just a bullshit story. So now you can fucking say whatever the fuck you were going to say, Mr. No.
Forget it.
Oh.
Forget it.
Yeah, well, fuck you.
Fuck it.
Prick.
No. You were saying that, or somebody said that that Bigfoot was maybe the whole point of this thing, but you're talking about people who didn't, I mean, Roe and Sean, who were the big driving factors behind that, didn't really, they don't know a whole lot about Bigfoot, even though they were in the community for a long time. Sean still is, I guess, I'm assuming, right, Matt?
No.
Okay. But he didn't really look into the stories he was publishing on Bigfoot evidence. You know, he just published it because it had Bigfoot in the title or whatever. You know, so he wasn't really a big, knowledgeable Bigfoot expert or anything. He just ran a blog where he published whatever had Bigfoot in it. So, and Roe was a filmmaker. You know, he wasn't really a Bigfoot guy before that. So when people think, well, the documentary was the point of the whole thing, I don't think so, because they wouldn't be able to coach Justin. They wouldn't know enough. You know, they're very smart men, but they wouldn't know enough of those fine details like you were talking about to be able to coach this guy. So,
but
that's just my take on that part of it.
To keep on that subject for a second, what about the Cino footage? Like, I know where I'm at with that. I don't think it was Bigfoot, but...
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say on that because it's thermal. It's, you know, it's at night. You don't get a clear view of anything. It's hard to say. And I know that Phil did all the breakdown on it.
Where is breakdown,
they went
fucking
back.
Bob?
Yeah.
Where has he been?
He's lost on Tiki Island.
Yeah.
Yes. And they went back and did, you know, measurements and everything. I think it was a thorough study, but even Bart said that, you know, you can't prove anything by that footage. It's not going to prove anything. It's not the end-all and be-all, and it never will be. Even, I mean, I don't care how good a thermal footage you get, it's still not going to be proof of anything because it's thermal footage, you know.
Yeah.
And thermal footage, just like every other footage, can be manipulated or faked or misinterpreted.
I guess I just don't buy into it. And there's a lot of other factors that go into that whole research area, quote unquote, that people have said that, you know, people don't go up there, yada yada yada, but they do. And there's people that live up on that section of the Sierras that run.
No, it makes a better story.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I see a lot of researchers saying that sort of thing.
But
I'm way back deep in the woods where nobody ever goes, but yet they're there.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to me. And there's other information that, you know, we've been privy to that isn't really public knowledge about different stuff that's gone on up there. And, you know, it just makes me believe that the whole thing is bullshit at this point. It was just a perpetuated story for bullshit.
I don't know. I'm still not going to declare bullshit. I'm going to declare possible bullshit, but I can't. I haven't made that
fence
leap.
rider.
Well, no. I'm leaning that way now at this point, very much so. But I can't 100% say that this is a bullshit story.
Yeah,
and it's because we've had interactions with Justin and all the people involved. We know. I mean, I spent hours in hangouts with Justin, just talking about this and other things, and so he's one hell of a fucking liar. You know, if he is lying, he's just like that Norm Glasser thing. I bought it that hook, line, and sinker because the guy was a very, very skilled liar. And if that's the case, then Justin is too. You know, and a lot of people say, "Well, his story's changed. His story's changed." Well, there has been some additions, but no changes to the major story.
I've sat down, had dinner with the guy. I've drank beers with the guy. Like I said, I got nothing against him. Like I don't sit around and seethe and hate the guy for those quote unquote stories, or whatever you want to call them.
More power to him. I mean,
but it just, it's one of those things that kind of bothers me because it was one of the things that kind of got me into, or kind of back into the Bigfoot phenomenon, like the whole Exist show. Well,
right, yeah, we were all fans of that.
And then the bullshit that happened with Michael Merchant, which looking back now is fucking hilarious. It wasn't so funny at the time. It was. He's just a fucking cartoon character. Like, I walk around bare feet or barefoot in Maine, no matter what fucking temperature it is, but I only go to this same section of fucking road. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him film anything outside of that area.
I think he's run his course. I think his whole shtick is to get back on TV, and he's done it twice now. I don't think it's... Once he'll switch to something else. He started out doing atheist videos and shit like that, and then he went on the Sharia law videos, and then he got into the Bigfoot stuff, and he was a skeptic, and then he turned into a believer, and now he's into the paranormal side of Bigfoot. He'll go on to something else as soon as he realizes, okay, I'm done with this shtick. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
That's my opinion about the guy.
I don't know. I'd like to seriously see Bobcat Goldthwait do his Bigfoot movie that he's been talking about as a documentary on the people of the Bigfoot community.
I'd love to see it,
because he wants to do a documentary style thing on Bigfoot. He's totally a Bigfoot believer. Like, he went to the Ohio conference, I believe.
Yeah.
And before that, he had gone to Point Pleasant to check, or after he went to Point Pleasant to check out the Mothman, or not to check out the Mothman, but just to go to Point Pleasant.
Speaking of Mothman Festival, I don't believe I'll be attending.
Oh, come on.
The finances aren't there right now.
Oh, Jesus.
So, unless somebody wants to start a GoFundMe campaign
if they're going to start a GoFundMe campaign, I'm going.
Right. Hey, to our fan, can we start our own, or is that too presumptuous?
You can start whatever the fuck you want, Steve.
That's the only way you're getting the fucking money.
Oh. Yeah, because one of our fans starts it, like Richard Allen starts it, he'll fucking take the money and run, I'm guessing.
Oh, he'd spend it all on video games. You kidding me?
Oh. But no, at this point, I just don't have the fundage to go. So I'll find something else to do that weekend. I'm still taking the day off work, though, because I put in for a vacation day for the Friday. Fuck them.
I wish I could make it down.
But unless somebody wants to pay my way, I'm willing to go then.
That's one I'd like to check out.
I'd love to go.
Yeah, it'd be a fun
Love
time.
to. And I made a lot of contacts with people who are going, so that I can meet up with them. And I'm sorry to disappoint them all.
And now
but at
you
this point-
fucking become the liar that you are.
Well, Bill Brock offered to let me sleep in his tent.
Did he?
So, oh yeah, at the TNT area even.
There
Dude,
you go.
Henry May gets a free ride to every single conference in the continental United States. So
I couldn't
I'm
even.
Sure
I
that
couldn't
you can
even
find a way to get.
No,
to
no,
Point
no.
Pleasant.
I put on. Well, Henry May had 2 GoFundMe accounts at the same time. One was because his house got flooded, and one was to get the Beachfoot. Which one do you think got funded?
Beachfoot.
What the fuck? What the literal fuck? This man's house is
Anytime a
flooded.
new DVD, book, action figure, anything comes out, Henry just asks the people for it. He
Well, I'm
just,
just
like,
saying.
contacts the person that has the rights to it, and hey, will you give this to me?
And
So
I like
you gotta like belittle yourself, Steve, and just ask for it.
Henry, okay, and it's great that people do things for him. But I think that's a synopsis of the whole community, Bigfoot, paranormal, that UFO community, that they'd rather fund somebody to go to a Bigfoot conference than to help them fix their fucking house. That just pissed me right the fuck off.
But it's not pretentious to like have a GoFundMe to get to the Bigfoot conference when you need to fix your house.
I was
Well,
I was
yeah,
gonna
that-
go
that
there,
can
but I
bother-
wasn't sure if it was
that
okay,
did
Matt.
kinda
Thank you
bother
for
me.
doing
I mean,
that
I
for
like-
me.
That did bother me too, that he had 2 GoFundMes at the same time, and one was one was serious, and the frivolous one got funded.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on a second. But how much money did he raise?
I don't know.
Like, how much money does it take to get to Beachfoot?
Well, the plane tickets probably. I think the time that I wanted to go was like $300.
And is there a number or a limit to the number of GoFundMes you can list in a week?
I don't think so.
That's what I'm going to do for a living. I'm just going to have GoFundMes.
There you go.
And GoFundMe, you can collect the money regardless if you hit your goal.
Right. GoFundMe to pay my electric bill for this month.
There you go. Well, I'd go with that. All right. Well, I think we've bantered around and fucked off enough for this show. Keeping Matt longer than time should allow because he's such a busy man.
I am
He's got shit to do.
falling behind as we speak.
I know.
I got shit to do too. I got to take a piss. So let's get this news read.
All right. Why don't we do that?
I had to do it.
Fuck off.
In Richard's stead. I'm sorry. All right,
Sir
please.
Richard, get it
this
right.
is from, I know. As dubbed by Matt Knapp. I mean, Matt Knapp is the one who coined that phrase.
That's because I'm a Bigfoot expert.
And then everybody started using it as if it was their own.
Wait a minute. Because you're a Bigfoot expert, you can knight people?
Well,
Correct.
I
yeah.
want to be knighted, Matt.
Duh.
Okay. Sir York.
It even works.
I don't wish to be knighted. From the
No
ends.
problem.
Yep. I didn't expect one anyway. It's just like the GoFund. You see, I put up a fundraiser for my son for football. You know, so they could
Hashtag Alcorn problems.
He needed,
Yeah, exactly.
he needed $50. He needed $50 for this weightlifting thing. And if he raised the $50, he would have got a T-shirt and some other shit. You know, nobody, and I mean not one person, fucking gave him anything. Not even
Including his father.
No, I did, and my mother ended up giving him some. But that was it. I posted it on Facebook because I got how many fucking thousands of people look at my Facebook all the time. Yeah. Anyway, don't get me started. Nobody. And Henry May gets the Beachfoot. That fucking pisses me off. I'm sorry. nzherald.co.nz. Police have called in the big guns after a family experienced violent and unexplained events reportedly at the hands of a poltergeist. The family, who in South Lancashire, I'm sure I said that wrong, Scott Lancashire? Is that how it's said over there? Oh, wait, we don't have the British guy on tonight. Scotland, have reported a number of disturbing incidents which cannot be easily explained, and I'm fucking up already. And contacted, see, Matt, nothing's changed.
You haven't skipped a beat, Steve.
Let me start over. No, I'm not going to go that far back. Anyway, these people, they called the cops because
we've got a poltergeist problem, you say?
Oh, yes.
Our daughter Carol Ann's on the television set.
The officer showed up expecting it to be a mental health issue, and it probably was. But they witnessed the lights going off, clothes flying across the room, and the dog, a pet chihuahua, sitting on top of a hedge. Well, what the hell is paranormal about that? A police source told the Daily Record. The officers called their superiors, who also came, thinking the cops were perhaps being a bit silly, but it's being taken very seriously. One problem we've got is we go from here as no crime has been established, so what else can we do but deal with any reports of
One problem that we have is the house was built on an Indian burial ground.
In Scotland?
Yes. Little known fact.
Paranormal.
Yeah, because the title of the story says they've seen a dog floating in the air, but now they say it was sitting on top of a hedge. Well, what's a hedge in Scotland? Is it just like a row of hedges, or?
There's a bustle in your hedgerow.
Well, anyway, so they ended up getting a priest to bless the house, and the family have since moved out.
The power of Christ compels you.
They're staying with relatives.
How do you get a chihuahua in Scotland?
Well, just like you get one here, I'm guessing.
The same way you get an
seems like
Indian
a rare-
burial ground in Scotland.
I think it'd be kind of difficult. That's the job I want. I want to be the dog guy in Scotland. I can get you any kind of dog you want. Chihuahuas cost extra.
From the tribdem.com, which is actually the Tribune Democrat, I think it's actually called. Tribdem.com. Area residents with stories about their paranormal experiences will soon be able to share those stories and listen to others. If you're in the area of the Laurel Highlands Historical Village, it will hold its 4th annual Strange Encounters of Pennsylvania conference. Ooh,
You going,
it's
Steve?
Probably not that far from me. I don't know. I don't have the funds.
You
Couldn't they just
got to go to a car show where you're hoping you get the number 69 again.
I only got numbers at one show, but that show's coming up, so maybe I have to help with that show, so I don't think I'm going to get the number 69. Probably like 6 or maybe 9, but not 69.
Oh.
The Laurel Highlands Historical Village will hold its 4th annual Strange Encounters of Pennsylvania conference from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. August 20th at the Jackson Township Fire Hall. This event, I like these, like public service announcement ones, Chris. This event is designed to be educational and informative.
What does that mean? I like the informative ones, public service announcements,
You mean the ones he gets from the community calendar?
I don't know. Chris picks these stories most of the time anymore because I'm too damn fucking lazy. But, it's just a fucking paranormal conference in Pennsylvania that nobody's going to go to.
Well, thanks for that, Steve.
Oh, wait. Maybe I will go because UFO researcher Stan Gordon's one of the keynote speakers. He'll present new information. Newsflash. He will present new information about the December 9th, 1965 UFO incident at Kecksburg. New information.
Then you better go. You got to get that that Fortean Slip exclusive.
That's right.
Here's the quote.
I need an on-the-site reporter, Steve.
Because I live really close to Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania is a pretty big state, and I'm pretty sure Laurel Highlands Historical Village is not anywhere close to me.
Why can't you take one for the team, Steve? You're not going to Mothman.
Well, Mothman's probably closer.
See? The fuck's wrong with you?
I don't know. Here's the quote about the new information. People have all of a sudden been coming forward with new information about Kecksburg, Shawley said. Gordon, why? I don't know. Gordon will also discuss a rash of recent Bigfoot sightings. Oh, wow, now we got Bigfoot, too. And reports of other mysterious creatures in western Pennsylvania.
You've got to go, Steve.
Oh, John Venter, host of the, or Ventry, maybe it is, host of the television series Hangar One, the UFO Files, and director of the...
It's a UFO, Steve!
He's also the director of the PA Mutual UFO Network. He'll be there, too.
You should go and tell the story about your parents.
What about David Childress?
My parents? I think
Yeah.
David Childress will be there, but I skipped over that part.
What?
I don't know if is he going to be there?
Is David Duchovny going to be there?
I don't know. I already clicked off the story.
What about David Copperfield?
Yes.
Or is he too busy taking girls to his island?
Ooh, here's a really good one. Ozzy Osbourne and Jack Osbourne. I guess they have a new TV show. I've never heard of it, though. It's called Ozzy and Jack's World Detour. They're going to Roswell to see if the truth is really out there. And they're going to look into the Roswell UFO incident and all things UFO. Fuck. I think it's solved now. I think Ozzy Osbourne is the man to solve this issue.
And Ozzy will mumble.
I think they're going to find Ozzy dead in the desert.
And nobody will ever understand the truth because he can't understand a word the fuck.
They'll have to have subtitles just for Ozzy.
Yeah.
As he's still battling his sex addiction and screwing one of the assistants.
He won't have a clue where he's even at.
Here's the great part.
Is this Florida?
The name of the episode is the unidentified flying Ozzy episode.
Huh, clever.
This is great, huh? The unlikely history nerds head to Roswell in New Mexico to check out the infamous crash site and the UFO museum. The Roswell UFO incident happened back in 1947 when a press release from Roswell Army Airfield was put out reporting that they had recovered a flying disc which crashed at a nearby ranch. Blah, 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 blah. Many years later, blah, blah, blah. Project Mogul, blah, blah, blah. Nuclear testing and high-altitude microphone.
That's awesome, Steve. That's a great story.
Well, everybody knows the fucking story.
Get out of the car and eat a salad.
Everybody knows the fucking Roswell story. Do I really got to repeat that?
What Roswell story,
Yeah.
Steve?
I'm unaware of this story.
Yeah.
You mean the Oswell story?
It is
what
now.
I did there?
I want to beat
Oh,
you.
wait.
I want to beat you with a Nerf bat that has an aluminum bat inside it.
Ozzy and Jack are also going to check out the rather cool Petroglyphs National Monument. You can see some fascinating shit there, too. So.
Nice.
Riveting stuff.
Well, hey, if anybody's going to solve the Roswell issue, it's Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, come on. The guy's a legend.
Is he going to piss on the actual
Daily Mail.
Roswell site?
This is my favorite story. Chris sent me this story like 2 days ago in preparation for the greatness of it. Police say a young woman has logged a formal complaint that she has been raped. Oh, that's sad. She's been raped by a Pokemon. She told officers that she had been sexually assaulted by a giant... she told officers that
Maybe
she has
it was
been
a guy in a
sexually
furry costume.
She was
Let's give her the
sexually
benefit of the
assaulted
doubt.
Pikachu.
I think it was Pikachu. She told officers that she had been sexually assaulted by a giant Pokemon in her apartment in the Russian capital city of Moscow. The married woman, whose name has not been released, had been reportedly playing Pokemon Go before she fell asleep. The game has proved hugely popular with 15 million downloads in the first week in the United States. The woman says the Pokemon disappeared when she jumped out of bed, but says the Pokemon Go app on her phone could still detect the same virtual creature's presence on her bed.
Shut the fuck up.
She woke up her husband to tell him what happened, who told police officers that he did not believe her and told her to seek a psychiatrist. A Russian news website Blocknot reports that police did not believe her either, and that the woman, instead of seeking a psychiatrist, went to see a psychic who was unable to help her. Duh. Ivan Markov, the woman's friend, said, she says there were too many Pokemon at her place, and even a dog can sense them.
They're not real, you crazy bitch.
She says the dog barks whenever she plays Pokemon.
What? The dog farts?
Barks.
Oh, I thought you said the dog farts every time it senses one.
They're walking down the road. Oh, there's another one.
Mr. Markov said that his friend had eventually accepted her husband's advice in desperation and had booked an appointment with a psychiatrist. Pokemon Go is a free-to-play. Everybody knows what the fuck it is.
Pokemon Go, fuck yourself.
Well, yeah. And that, gentlemen, is the news.
Somebody get me Mick West. That's all I gotta say, because Steve just can't cut it anymore.
I never could.
I know. This has been episode 124 of the Fortean Slip. If you like this shit, hit the thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment. I'm enjoying the array of bashings I've been getting lately. They've been great. Check out Dred Funn, as I said before, at youtube.com/Dred Funn and at dredfunn.com. Check out Matt at bigfootcrossroads.com and at youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads. That's correct, right, Matt?
Yes.
And if you haven't, I'd meant to mention this during the show. Check out Gene St. Jean. We did an interview with him, and he probably said one of the greatest things on any show we've ever recorded when he said that Parallax in the fucking Green Lantern movie was like a big cum monster. See ya!